dominated the news is the large numbers of Africans migrating to Europe. And obviously, I believe these guys have one or two reasons. But that obviously calls for concern. But what actually caught my attention and why I'm making this video today is due to the fact that as Africans are migrating to Europe, the Chinese are coming to Africa, more importantly, Lagos, Nigeria, in their large numbers to establish settlements. In Amuodofin, we have a Chinese community in Diamond Estate. We have the Chinese in Lekki. We have the Chinese in Abijo. We have them scattered across Owode, Oniri, Owode Oniri. We have them in Shagamu. We have them in the free trade zone. And the question is, what exactly is going on? Africans are leaving and the Chinese are coming. Are we going to experience a Chinese revolution, or are they coming to dominate our resources? My name is Adejare, and on today's episode of Property Matters, I'm going to be talking about why China are coming to Nigeria, more importantly, settling down in Lagos. So today's going to be another awesome topic. So I want you to sit down, relax, okay? This is going to be an exciting video. Do well to subscribe, and I'll be back after this short commercial to expatiate more on today's topic. All right, you're welcome back. So recently, I've been noticing the activities of the Chinese in strategic parts of Lagos. First Stack Diamond Estates, these guys are there. Of course, they're handling some of the construction of some of the malls that were recently, built along that First Stack axis, that 21 road axis. Then, of course, you know that these Chinese are also active participants of the Alaba International Road. Of course, it's being constructed by the Chinese. Then, when I also got to ibeju Lekki, I found out that we have them in larger, in their large numbers. The Chinese are settling in Abijo. The Chinese are in some places in Lekki. We also have them in Lekki. We have some of them in Amen Estate Phase 1. Then when you go towards that refinery axis, there's a Chinese steel factory there. And that Chinese steel factory has been there for a while. Far back in 2015, information got to us that the Chinese bought hectares of land at ibeju Lekki from Lagos state government, and they are setting up one of their biggest Chinatown. When you look at some of the lands that were resold by Lagos state government, more importantly, the Folu axis, the Folu axis, the La Campagne axis, the Kegon axis, major people that have bought, in properties there that government have given titles are the Chinese. Now, when you look at other states, this is not just in Lagos. This present scenario is not just limited to Lagos. We found out that the Ogun State government also have signed a memorandum of understanding with the Chinese government to set up a free trade zone, and also they also have it in plan, of course, to sign another memorandum of understanding with this same Chinese government. The Chinese to set up also a deep support. Though there've been speculations and rumors that the Ogun State free trade zone is going to be in that the later part of Odiomi. Although we've not been able to confirm, but we know that these two gigantic projects are coming to Ogun State. And of course, this project will certainly be handled by the Chinese. When you look at the major constructions that's been done in Lagos, is it the one at Oshodi? Is it the one at Amuodofin? That road, that Amuodofin Agboju, Alaba International Market Road is being constructed by the Chinese. And the present one that is happening along the ibeju Lekki axis, the Lekki axis, is also being constructed by them. So the question is, are we going to experience a Chinese revolution in Lagos? I've heard people say that the reason why we're noticing the presence of the Chinese in Lagos basically is due to the fact that Buhari borrowed a lot of money. The Nigerian government have borrowed a lot of money, so they have used some portion of Lagos as a collateral. All these obviously are speculations and they cannot be proven. But what I can tell you basically is that while Nigerians are, finding their fortunes and searching for greener pasture abroad, I noticed that we have large number of Chinese residing in a, more importantly, the Ibeju Lekki axis. So what exactly is this, and why do we have them settling in these areas that most Africans are not even interested in investing in? So on today's episode of Property Matters, we're going to be talking about the Chinese involvement in real estate, and I'm going to be talking about some of the economic potentials that you real estate investors should not ignore. Now, if you are a diasporan viewing this video, I want to say very big congratulations, because I'll be establishing some things. And of course, towards some part of this video, I'm going to be playing a short video. I would have loved to play full, but I'm trying to, work with the YouTube community standard, to copy, to ensure that there is no copyright infringement. I'm just going to show you a brief video explaining some of these things. Then I will talk extensively on this. So, but before I go further, I want us to see a brief video, a short one, that's talking about someone who had an interview and is talking about the Chinese activity. So the question is, are we going to experience a Chinese revolution in Lagos, Nigeria, or do the government use our lands as collateral for some of the loans they collected? These are questions that I cannot answer, but after this video, we'll talk more, and of course, you'll be able to understand why we're having a lot of China presence in Lagos, Nigeria.
Right, so most people still don't understand why I'm extremely passionate about buying lands in Africa. You see, while most Africans are busy leaving Africa, China is busy coming into Africa and buying up all the lands. I need you to watch and listen to this.
I keep going to China every year. China keeps going to Africa. I said, what am I doing?
You know what I'd heard? I don't know if this is true or not, but a Chinese close associate of mine told me about this. They're saying that the Chinese have been systematically giving loans to these African countries, which they ultimately can't pay back, and they're taking more and more land in different parts of Africa.
All right, you're welcome back.
From these loans, and they're slowly starting to take over Africa.
They're
buying Africa, essentially.
Now,
that's
the
true?
very first question is, has government used some of our vacant lands as collaterals for the loans they've collected? Are we going to be losing some of our facilities, our national projects, like the deep support, like the refinery? Are we going to be losing our national assets to the Chinese due to the fact that these loans have not been paid? And from all indications, many people are expressing their doubts that our leaders may not be able to pay these loans. But from the investment point of view, I'm going to be talking about why the Chinese are in Lagos, Nigeria. Now, when you understand that Europeans basically don't limit their economic prosperity to their country, they don't. What they do basically is that many of them are always in search, of how they can have imperialist expansion. That means that these people are going to some nations in the continent of Africa, establishing trade, signing treaties, signing business agreements, signing pacts with the government. And most times, from our analysis, we'll be able to establish that most of these agreements and, of course, treaty that is being signed between the Chinese and the government are believed to be a mutual beneficiary agreement that is being signed. And that's why we found out that most times these guys are actively involved. But I'm going to be talking about how Chinese involvement in real estate can revolutionize the Lagos state in real estate industry. That is going to be my major area of focus, because I want our investor to understand that real estate is not gone. The nation is not bad. Of course, we're having some challenges. I also want to tell real estate investors that if you are undermining Lagos, if you're undermining Nigeria because of the present economy that the nation is going through, then you need to have a rethink. And today I'm going to be analyzing some of the important projects that the Chinese are doing in Lagos, Nigeria, even in Ogun State and other parts of the country, that is going to bring about sustainable and economic prosperity to this area. Do you understand? So I'm going to be talking about that in essence, and I want our real estate investor to sit down, analyze this video, and understand the economic advantages that you don't want to observe, you don't want to miss. Now, the very first thing is that the Chinese are the co-owners of the Lekki Deep Seaport. The Lekki Deep Seaport is majorly being run by them, but Lagos State government also have a say. When you look at the activities of the free trade zone, you'll find out that the Chinese also, okay, have some level of control over it. That is not all. When you also look at the settlement pattern in Lagos, you will realize that the Chinese are always interested in places, more importantly, vacant lands where they can establish their monumental projects. Far back in 2015, far back in 2013, the Chinese investors and, of course, the Chinese analysts and economists have been scouting ibeju Lekki way before other investors' attention were drawn to this region. When you look at the Berger axis, when you look at the Owode Onire axis, when you look at the Shagamu axis, you will find out that these guys have industries, they have factories that they are producing on a daily basis, and the activities of the Chinese within these mentioned places have made that place one of, okay, the most busiest industrial zone of that area. So, in as much as fact that the Chinese are doing business in Africa is a reason why it is not advisable for Africans wherever they are across the world to rule out their region. More importantly, Nigerians in diaspora. Though the transformation process is gradual, well, of course, I also agree that the Nigerian government over time have borrowed loans from the Chinese government, and a lot of people have been speculating that I hope the Chinese will not demand for our national assets as a what? As a repayment pattern for the loans that have been collected. So this obviously could be a reason why many people are thinking that Nigeria will lose its assets, regardless of the fact. I also want you to understand that Nigeria is a sovereign nation, and Nigerians, okay, have rights to own real estate. But in a situation whereby the participation of Nigerians, more importantly those in diaspora, in investing in their homeland is low, you guys are giving foreigners the opportunities to own everything that belongs to you if you don't participate. Now, we're not saying that you should compete with the Chinese or you should fight for available vacant land. No. What we're trying to say is that let us begin to view investment opportunities in Lagos, Nigeria, the way these Chinese are viewing it. You know, most times a lot of people do not understand that these Chinese, these Asians, they see way further. Where people are seeing problems, where people have seen obstacles. In this same Nigeria that the roads are bad, the Chinese are there and they are not dead. In this same Nigeria that the economy is very harsh, these Chinese are there and they are, you know, they are surviving. In this same economy where development seems to be slow, these Chinese are there. So why exactly have they not left their assets? Why have they not left Nigeria and saying that they don't want to have anything to do because the government have not made, you know, business and industry to be what? To be favorable to them, regardless of the challenges, regardless of the unfavorable circumstances that these people face every day, they are still here. So the question is, what exactly are they seeing that we are not seeing? What are those investment opportunities that they are maximizing that we Nigerians are not looking at? These guys are not foolish. These guys are strategists. These guys understand how to maximize. In Africa, we have several, you know, the current coup that happened in Niger, basically, you understand that the Nigerians were celebrating and the military government that took over power insisting that they want the French to go. So the question is, I'm not saying we should go into coup. I'm just saying that for these people, okay, to say they don't want these people to manage their resources, that means that African is coming to a great awakening where they are coming to the full realization of the fact that Africa has what it takes to sustain and become one of the most sorted, developed, and of course, economic giants 10 years, 5 years. So in some cases, for some of these African countries that are, you know, overthrowing the government. I'm not in support of it, but I'm beginning to see that these guys are beginning to think in a different way. These guys are beginning to see opportunities that most real estate investors, more importantly those in Nigeria, are undermining. Now, the sad thing is that some Nigerians in diaspora are undermining the potentials. The Nigerians in diaspora are using the present challenges and circumstances that is affecting the Lagos real estate market to make investment decisions. And you don't do that way. When you look at this over time, you notice that in times of migration, there's been larger migration here on the highland, here at Ibeju Lekki. When you look at that Ibeju Lekki axis downwards, we have factories, we have, in fact, there's hardly a day you pass through us, the Lekki Ekpe axis, the Awuyaya axis, the Bogije axis, down to Eleko axis, that you not see one or two people setting up malls, setting up industries, setting up offices. People are gradually, in fact, I've seen instances of people coming back from abroad to set up industries, to set up, factories, to set up companies. These things are happening even in our own Ibeju Lekki that we are seeing. So a lot of people, there's what we call an awakening of the resources, how you can maximize the resources to be the best. So how does these affect real estate? Number one, there's going to be a competition for scarce land because the Chinese are not buying. Now, when you understand what I said that in 2015, they started scouting for lands in large quantities. The Chinese don't buy one plot, they buy in hectares, because they think of the big picture. When you look at the Owode Oniri axis, the Shagamu axis, and other parts where they have the industry, you notice that they are using large expanse of land. And these are resources. And when you look at most of their activities, basically, is contributing rapidly to the industrialization of this region. So as a real estate investor, you don't have to just look it from the perspective that Nigeria is owning China. No, you have to see the economic importance of what this thing can do to help your investments. Now, in fact, the activities of these Chinese should even wake up awaken, your curiosity to the fact that how can this be beneficial to me? Number one, the activities of the Chinese has increased activities of employment, more importantly in the Ibeju Lekki axis. The deep support I've employed, the last time I went there were lots of residents. Do you know that people still stay, work at the free trade zone, and they still come as far, okay? They still come as far as Shongotedo Aja, and these guys are working at the deep support. There is no single residential apartment that has been constructed to tackle the problem of housing. This is an investment opportunity for you, real estate investor. Do you know that when they inaugurated the Dangote refinery before the tenure of our former president, Muhammadu Buhari, do you know that there is no standard, no standard 5-star hotel in Ibeju Lekki? Do you understand? No standard. So most of the hotels that are not standard, most of those hotels charge the fortune. I heard some of them charge as high as 40,000 per night. Normally, before those activities, if you have 5K, you get a lodge in Ibeju Lekki. Quote me anywhere. But they increase it to 40. And these hotels are not standard. So there is no standard hotel in Ibeju Lekki. Do you know that right now, at the moment, there is no standard hospitals or pharmaceutical stores in Ibeju Lekki? Now, why is Ibeju Lekki a point of reference? It's because of the fact that the activities of the Chinese, is awakening the economic and of course the economic potentials of that. So many people are now saying that these places are becoming what? They are becoming prime locations. You need to understand that. So this obviously is a reason why you should have a rethink that I can have something that can give me generational wealth as long as I have it, as long as I maintain it. The Chinese are building industries. As a real estate investor, don't look at them. Don't fold them and say nothing concern you. No, a lot of things concern you. Nigeria is your homeland. So foreigners should not come and eat the benefits of the country while you are there in Europe looking for your daily bread, when you can have something that can, that can be a backup plan to whatever you're doing in Europe. This is where you have to start looking at it from this perspective. Then the next thing I also want you to understand is that the Chinese are setting up factories in this same Ibeju Lekki. So what must you now do? Now, a lot of people, now, what are the major disadvantages now of the Chinese activities? Now, many people have expressed their fear that the Chinese may dominate the people there. Maybe. A lot of people are saying that the Chinese will exploit Africa. Maybe. And a lot of people are saying that if our leaders are unable to pay our loans, they may take some of our national assets. But that is not the bone of contention. The bone of contention is that they are creating jobs for Africa. When the Chinese are doing most of those construction, the people that work on those construction are Africans, they're Nigerians, they are Nigerians. I don't want to specify, they're just Nigerians. Number two, they are building infrastructure. So don't see, wherever you are in across the world, don't fold your hands and watch these foreign people take larger percentage of your infrastructure, while you that are Nigerians are busy there not investing. So they are being, so more importantly, they are adding value to real estate. They're adding value to real estate. There are some places, ibeju Lekki right now is gold. Now, the activities of the free trade zone, the activities now, there's going to be an international airport. So that means that when that project starts, and because I'm sure some Chinese construction companies will be part of that project, there will be need. So you understand that if you understand the trend, okay, and the activities of real estate in Lagos, Nigeria, you find out that they've been rapid migration from different parts of Lagos to the highland. And that's why sometimes the places that you're supposed to pay 250,000 for, landlord will tell you, you don't have 450K, don't move in. And they are so confident of the fact that if you don't take it, someone else will pay their nose to get that accommodation. So this is more or less like an awakening to our brothers and sisters. Don't fold on. Don't say you don't need properties. See, in conclusion, with the way this industrial revolution is going on, with the way these guys are setting up factories, with the way these guys are signing business opportunities with governments, the memorandum of understanding to handle projects, 20 years from today, many people will not be able to afford property in Nigeria. It's not a cost. 20 years from today, real estate will become so valuable to the point that only few that can afford it. Many people will wish that, I wish I invested when this guy was saying it. I never knew that Nigeria is going to become an economic center for the world. It's going to come. It's only a matter of, see, the present situation Nigeria is facing right now should not discourage you. It's your homeland. Don't just lend foreigners to take larger percentage of what should rightfully belong to you. And you can only participate by investing today. Whether it is cash, land banking you want to do, if you're looking forward to come to Nigeria, maybe the next 5-10 years, you can look for properties and invest. If you're looking for, you want to get you want to build residential properties, you want to earn rents, you're looking at building lodges, you're looking at building guest houses, you're looking at building hotels, the time to do it. Don't wait until all these things are in place, because you're waiting. If a lot of people may not be able to afford it, and by that time, many people wish they bought earlier. That is how, this is what is going on. This is the reality of what is going on in Lagos, Nigeria. So this is where I'm going to drop today's cutting off episode of Property Matters. I hope you have gotten value. For more information about consultation and the likes, our numbers are below the caption of this video. You can give us a call, and of course, we can help you with your next real estate investment. Thank you, and see you in my next video. Bye for now.